Good morning. Today I'm going to show you how to do conditional physics the easy way. In case you don't know what conditional physics are, it's when something starts moving a specific way based on a certain movement. So for example, the tail wagging faster when a model smiles. So I am going to show you how to do that right now. And this is not necessarily the way I was taught, it's just the way that I find easier than the way I was taught. So let's get into this. So I am starting with a fresh file, and this project file will be on my Ko-fi as a study file in case you want to grab that afterwards. But you can totally do it with just this tutorial if you don't need the extra messing around in the study file itself. So what I want to do first is to clear up some confusion. I'm going to get rid of a lot of these parameters because we don't need it. For now, we only need mouth form and breath. So let's get rid of everything else. And I'm going to put this in a folder called inputs. Let's move those in here. Okay, so first of all, mesh the tail. And I'm just gonna do auto mesh. Preferably, you would do manual meshing. However, I do not have said patience for manual meshing. I'm gonna do 4th division just to make sure that this is gonna be smooth. And then we go to the path deform, which is P. And we're just going to place 3 dots. And we are going to increase the deform path width to make sure it covers the entire tail. There we go. And then we go to modeling, skinning, use deformation path for skinning. And now the tail is auto separated. Do be mindful that you will see some awkward bends. Skinning usually works better with thinner tails. Thicker tails tend to get a bit awkward, but it can be fixed very manually. So, what we want to do is we want to create a different folder. And we call that tail. And I'm going to make it purple. And then we do tail A1, physics tail A1. And we want it to be, I think it's minus 45 to 45. And we press blend shape. This step is important. You press blend shape on it. And let's see. Yep, it is minus 45 to 45. Because you want to match it 1-to-1 with the skinning parameters it just created. And then we make 5 of them. So A2, A3, A4, and A5. Now you want to do this again, but now we want B1. And we're gonna create 5 of these as well. B2, B3, B4, and B5. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to look at what's going on here, and you can see the angle is 45 to minus 45. So we want to bind this to A1, and we want to do the same here. 45 to minus 45. And we do the same with B1. 45 to minus 45. And we just keep replicating what is going on the skinning. I think all of them are gonna be 45 to minus 45, at least they should be. So that makes things easier and also slightly more monotonous. But we just continue our way through this. By the way, you can make this more complicated if you have the texture separated from the base and lines. Because then on these you can like swivel the texture around so that it gives a nice 3D effect. I haven't done that with this one because I drew this quickly. But you know, food for thought. And then this is again 45 to minus 45. You guys said you don't want me to skip these parts in my tutorials. I don't know why. I feel like I'm yapping too hard and you guys must be getting bored by this point. Don't worry, I will get through this fairly quickly because this is the last parameter that I'm dealing with. So that is 45 to minus 45. And we are going to be creating one more parameter. And we're gonna put this into input over here. And we're going to call this tail toggle. Okay, and we want to do this -1 to 1, which is the exact same as the mouth form. And you could put this directly onto the mouth form, by the way. I just like to keep it separated, just in case I need to adjust something. But you can do this directly onto the mouth form. And this is not a blend shape. This is a regular one. Okay, so we are going to delete this entire folder of the skinning. And we are left with only the blend shapes. Now what we're going to do first is we're going to go into physics. And we're going to add, and we say tail. Then leave the input blank. And I have a preset for this. And this is what my preset looks like. I have up to 15 pendulums, and all of them are equal. It is 7.0, 0.5, 1.0, 0.9. And I found that this works the best for me, but you can mess around with that to see what works for you. I would suggest keeping the shaking influence low. Okay, so for the input, we added breadth, and we want to put this on angle 100. And you can up the angle here, which will make it swing a little bit faster. So just up to you. So we are going to add A1, A2, A3, A4, and A5. We leave the B out of here. And we let that swing for a moment so that we can determine the maximum output. We don't touch it, we just let it swing. Okay, and then we increase output. Doesn't look pretty, but we're gonna have to deal with that. Otherwise, I'd need to go into glue editing. Actually, yeah, let me show you how to do glue editing. And this is a little bit finicky, so I don't know if I can get it right the first time. But basically, this is how you make a tail swing passively. Anyway. Okay, so this is all glued together. Where's the pain point? Where is the pain point? Down here? Yeah, okay. So, this is the glue editor. Basically, you click the glue icon up here, and then you press one of the yellow labels. So what we want to do is we just want to increase the glue margin here. See, which one is it? That one's not great either, but ooh, yeah, that's the pain point. See? That's kind of what happens. I don't think there's a feasible way for me to fix that at the current moment. I can turn my hardness down. Ooh, yeah. I don't think there's a way for me to do that. That's just the skinning doing its thing. So that would need a manual adjustment. See, that's the problem. These 2 points right there, those are the problem. So we are going to bind that and then just smooth that out manually. And that's the only thing you can realistically do here. Just try to smooth it. And that would take a while, by the way. It's kind of a pain. Kind of a massive pain to smooth that out manually. But it can be done. It can be done to an extent. Alright, a little bit of smoothing there. Also, we need to replicate that. Which one is it? This one? Okay, so we bind that to B3 as well. We go over here, Shift Control C, Shift Control V, Shift Control C, Shift Control V. And that's how you duplicate that real fast. As for the rest, I think the rest is fine. Yeah, that smooths itself out a lot. You can finick with that. You are allowed to finick. I don't really want to at this point. If this were a commission, I would. But it is not. So we move on. So let's save that. And then we dive into animation. So we drag the project to the timeline. We make this SDK. And we click on the scene and then we adjust the canvas size. Make sure you don't scroll too aggressively because you will lose sight of your project. Right. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to start with the B, tail B. And every 2, I will swing. And technically, this is 1 cycle. So this should be fine over here, but let's do 1 more cycle to be sure. Okay. We leave that overshooting for now. Because what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 spaces away from the first one. Over here, the second point in, 2 spaces away. And then we're going to go tail B2 over to that side. This is going to make sense. 2 spaces away, tail B3 over to that side. 2 spaces away, tail B4. 2 spaces away, tail B5. And then 2 spaces from here, B1 is activated again. And we're going to keep doing this with 2 spaces apart for each of them. And this is going to make sense in just a moment. By the way, if you guys want to see any other tutorials, do let me know. I am always up for making more. I know I don't upload that much, but mostly because I've shown you guys a lot of tutorials already, right? It's gonna be quite a lot by now. So I don't know how much more I can do. I'm sure there's things that I can teach you guys that I just haven't thought about. But again, I'd have to think about it. And then we come back to the middle with all of them. Oh, also, 1, 2. These all need to go to the middle here. There we go. And then we see on this line where everything is. So this is 5.6. Ooh. Minus. Was it 5.6? I think it was 4.6. I think it was 4 and not 5. Okay. Then this one is minus 15.9. Minus 29.1. Minus 40.4. Cool. And now we can delete these points. Okay. 4.6 minus 4.6, because we want to finish the way we start. What we could do though is copy those over. That would be easier. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and that should swing very normally now. Let's crop the workspace. Make sure that is the full timeline. And this looks cute already, right? This looks cute. But then what we want to do is we want to go into the graph editor, because I want to make it a little bit faster. It's not bad, but it could be faster. So we want to select B1 through B5. And we want to make sure all of that is selected. And then we drag. And let's say 2. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Then we go back here and we're gonna adjust the timeline again. And there we go. That is the tail wag, and we're gonna save that. And we're gonna call this conditional. Save. Right, so back to the tail study. What we want to do now is something very important. This is where the tail toggle comes into play, because we want to select tail A1. And then we want to go to limit settings for blend shape weights. And we want to add the tail toggle to this. And this is the passive one. The A's are the passive. So what we want to do is we want to fold that down. And then we can edit the graph. We add we add a row. And we do 0.5. There we go. That way it shuts down a little bit earlier. And we can select tail B, tail toggle, and we do the opposite here. We edit graph, add row, 0.5. And now this one shows the opposite. And we're going to be doing that with every parameter here. So till A2, till toggle, it's the upfold, edit graph, add row, 0.5. It's a little bit tedious. I do understand that, but this is the easiest way to do conditional physics, in my experience. In my humble opinion. By the way, don't mind my voice. I have been starting to lose my voice since I started recording. I do apologize for that. Okay, so we do not need... Yeah, we do. We need all of that. We're gonna go into blend shape weights. Till toggle. And then we add row 0.5 and B3 till toggle the opposite. We're almost through this. 2 more. Blend shape weights till toggle. This is the upfold. 0.5. B tail toggle, downfold, 0.5. And then one more. Oh. A4 tail toggle, edit 0.5. And that's not the right one. That is not the right one. That's the wrong fold. I need to pay attention. And then B5. You will notice very quickly if you've done something wrong, by the way. Live2D punishes immediately. Okay, and that should be good. So that should be tied to the tail toggle. So we save that. We go into physics settings. And this is doing its thing, as usual. But what we want to do is go to playlist. We add a playlist, it doesn't matter. And then we click on scene 1 and we add that to the playlist. Now we press play on it. And you can see this is going crazy, but we don't see it reflected here because we have to activate tail toggle for that to work. And the tail toggle will be bound to the mouth smile. And that is how that works. That is the easiest way to do conditional physics. It is much simpler than the way I was taught. Because the way I was taught, you'd have to fudge the physics settings. You'd have to trick Live2D into cooperating. Blend shape weights are so much easier. And yeah, let me show you how to set this up in VTube Studio. Also, don't forget to export the motion file on the animation. This is a very important step. It doesn't really matter what you have here. It's fine. We call it conditional. Make sure it's in the same folder as the exported Live2D file. Okay, we are in VTS. That is my personal model. Don't worry about her. I am currently not tracking. What we want to do is open the tail. So what we're going to do is we need the breath. And we set this to auto breathing. And we want the tail toggle. And we want to set this to mouth smile. And that is it. that is literally all you have to do. And now if it detects you smiling, the tail will wag faster. Again, I don't have my camera hooked up, but I will show you an example on screen. So I hope that helped someone, and I will see you next time. Bye guys!